Alright everyone, in today's video we're going to talk a bit about a few resources that you can use when you're playing Raid Shadow Legends. In all of the previous videos we tackled how to start, the most important things to focus on, how to progress your account quickly, and just in the last video where I gave you a bit of an update on where we are in the account and where you should roughly be as well right now, you could already tell what the next to-dos are. We have to upgrade a couple of champions, we have to go for the Masteries, we need to get silver to upgrade our items, our accessories, and our artifacts. So we got quite the to-do list, but at the same time, with a few of the things, you might be asking yourself, hey, when we're looking at Masteries, for example, what do I need to focus on? When we're looking at items, what's the focus here? There was obviously an item guide that I already provided, so if you haven't seen that yet and you're still struggling to determine what you should keep, what you should sell, what you should upgrade, you might just want to go back to the video and check that out. But for a lot of heroes that you might now pull, you might have some question on how exactly to equip them, if this is somebody where you need 100% crit rate, if it's someone where you need to focus a little bit more on defense or on hit points. And for exactly that we have a couple of resources, and that's what I want to talk about today. So probably the biggest resource for a beginner is, in my personal opinion, Ayumi Love. It's a fantastic website that has all of the heroes listed amongst other things, all of the champions, so that you can get a bit of an idea of what to do exactly. So just as a few examples, let's start with Ugo here and have a quick look for him, so you find him right at the top of the list. And it provides you with several things. There's obviously a ranking system that gives you a bit of an idea, okay, how good is a champion? That's quite useful if you're not really familiar with the champions that exist. Let's picture, for example, you get lucky and you pull a legendary, right? The first impulse that a lot of people have is that they're looking at a legendary and they're like, oh my god, I need to upgrade this immediately. I need to put all of my resources into that legendary, because you don't get that many legendaries in the beginning. That can be the completely wrong move, because there's plenty of legendaries that are just hot garbage, that are just not useful, where a well-equipped epic is way, way better. So this gives you a first idea of what exactly to do, what to focus on. It gives you, more importantly, also an idea what kind of equipment you want. So there's a couple of recommended artifacts that you have right here. There's a couple of stats priorities, which are in general quite useful. So again, don't take everything that you see here as like the holy grail. See it as a recommendation and as an initial start. The stats priority is actually quite important, because when we're talking about Ugo, what is Ugo at the end of the day? You have a debuffer that needs accuracy and speed. Those are the two most important stats that he has. You need to land the debuffs on the opponent, and you want to be fast about it, especially when you're using him in arena. So speed and accuracy are your two most important stats, as you can see here. And then after that, it's kind of important that you focus on his hit points and his defense. It's not so much important that you're getting crit rate and crit damage in, because that's just not his job in the team. But you want him to be pretty beefy, you want him to be difficult to kill, fast, and land a lot of accuracy. But one of the biggest tools actually when we're talking about Ayumi Love is actually the Mastery Guide. So there's different builds and different use cases that are getting discussed, and you have a bit of an idea of what exactly you want to go for with your Masteries. Now, as you're progressing through the game, I can already guarantee you that you will start to develop a quite good idea of what exactly you're aiming for with a champion that you pull, just simply by determining what is the champion good for. Is it a damage dealer? Is it a debuffer? Is it a speed champion? What's the utility there? And that gives you oftentimes an immediate idea of what exactly to use. One of the biggest decisions that you have to make when you're talking about masteries is actually which mastery you want to choose in the last row, because you only get one mastery there. So if you are going full into a debuffer, then something like Eagle Eye is super useful for you. If on the other hand we're talking about damage, you have War Master as an option, you have Helm Smasher as an option. So those are probably the two that are the most important, not only for damage dealers, but also if you're planning to use certain support champions in a capacity where that extra damage can actually play a big difference. So this is something to keep in mind. And Ayumi Love gives you a very good idea of, hey, what is this champion about and which direction can I go in. Now, obviously, if you start with masteries that you perceive to be wrong, then later on you can always change them. It's going to cost you gems, but it's something that you can actually do. So you're not all of a sudden you don't have to scrap a champion because you did the wrong thing and all of a sudden use it as food and hope that you pull a second one. So don't worry about that. But for me personally, at the beginning of the game, at the beginning of your journey in the game, this is one of the best tools. I'm going to link it in the description of the video so that you can have a look at it. But this is just absolutely fantastic, and it gives you a very good idea and a couple of pointers when you pull a champion that you're not familiar with, that you don't know yet, It's also quite useful when a new champion gets released. It might take a little bit until they have all the information on their side, but this is one of the best tools right at the start, and there's also a lot of explanations around the abilities that you have. So I would heavily recommend that you take a bit of a look at this and just browse through it. And when we're talking about the champions that we have right now and what masteries to go for, this can give you a very good idea of where to start. Now, obviously, when we're talking about the champions, you will hear different opinions on what exactly the focus should be. And I haven't really equipped too much yet with masteries for a lot of my champions, simply because we bought initially all the mastery scrolls for Alice. But after that, I haven't completely dumped all of the energy in the labyrinth, in the Minotaur's labyrinth yet to get all of the scrolls that I need. But you can already tell that, for example, with Ugo, currently I'm not too worried about having him go for offense and then getting War Master later on as extra damage. So I'm really just interested in using him as a debuffer. This is why we went down the accuracy path for most of it, and I'm gonna end eventually up with Eagle Eye. If I then at some point decide that I want to respec him, I will do so, but for now that's the path that I'm going to take. Just keep him beefy, keep him tanky, and try to make sure that he can get all of the AC and the accuracy. When we're looking at, on the other hand, Alice, she's obviously a damage dealer, so that's a little bit of a different story of what we're doing with her. And with her, I already have Helm Smasher here. But masteries are going to be very important. So, as explained in the last video, this is going to be a big to-do point for me and should be for you as well. Now that we're looking at the Minotaur's Labyrinth and can, for example, reliably farm either stage 14 or stage 15, you should really try and go into this. So, you have basically your 5 heroes that you want to fully equip with masteries at one point or another, so you just use that lineup and you go ham. Also, again, make sure that you use the team setup if you're struggling to get 100% clear rate on it. This is really helpful to pull it off. We can go a bit more into details on that if you want. Just leave me a comment in the description and I'm happy to go a little bit more into detail on it. But for now, the priority is still the same with the help of tools like Yumi. Get the scrolls, equip the masteries for the champions, and also start upgrading them a little bit higher. Personally, I'm still at a point where I have quite a few food champions with 5-star where I'm not 100% certain if I really want to use them just yet. I still hope that we can get the pulls with the Ancients and the Epics first, so that I can see if I maybe get lucky there and get a key champion. If not, then it's most likely going to be Ugo, maybe Duodan, that I'm going to upgrade. But yeah, time will tell. That's it for the day. Again, I hope that helps you. The link will be in the description of the video, so make sure that you take good use of that. And if you have any questions, as always, just leave a comment in the comment section, and I'm gonna be happy to address it and maybe create a separate video about it. Have a good one, guys, and see you in the next one.